So Rex Murphy is at it again, this time publishing in the National Post what has to be described as a transphobic rant circulating Hasbro's decision to make a genderless Mr. Potato Head. This is an unbelievable read. We're going to go through it. Let's have some fun.
Overhead, in the produce section at the local supermarket. Spud! Spud! I beg your pardon. We may be in the back of the truck garden-wise with the snooty asparagus and broccoli and arugula class looking down on us from their 24-hour sprinkler beds, but we have our dignity. We have a name, and Spud doesn't cut it. It's offensive and inflammatory. And yet here's the Associated Press, an American news corporation, slinging the word Spud around, careless of the trigger and trauma the word inflicts on more tender tubers. And so, may I tell you, Mr. AP, get it? Mister? Once and for all, that Spud is classist and vegetablist in their worst form. We are potatoes, lad, and don't you forget it. No surprise there's turmoil in the potato patch, weeping in the vegetable cellar.
What an opening, eh? Like, Rex Murphy makes everything sound so absurd and ridiculous. The situation must be absurd and ridiculous. Oh man, but the only thing that's absurd and ridiculous here is Rex Murphy's overt and open transphobia.
It's all in the wake of that Hasbro crowd sucking up to the woke crowd and trying to knock the most famous potato in the world, one of the toy company's top sellers for almost 70 years, off his deservedly earned patriarch of all the starch's throne, the venerable Mr. Potato Head.
How quickly Rex Murphy is willing to toss out any kind of capitalist idea or capitalist intention the second that it involves trans issues or transphobia, right? The second he goes, wait a minute, I'm scared of trans people, nor do I acknowledge their existence. He's willing to throw out any company attempting to acknowledge the existence, but then also attempting to just make a quick buck, right? Why shouldn't Hasbro try to make some money off of people who are interested in this sort of issue? Why shouldn't Hasbro attempt to move forward? Isn't that just a good business decision? Shouldn't we attempt to make money from the people who have money based on the issues that they're interested in, Rex?
They have decided to denature Mr. Potato Head in their branding, chopping off his Mr. in all the service of the identity politics that has occupied the leftist Puritans of our day with unrelenting feverishness. In addition to dropping the Mr. from the Mr. Potato Head brand, Hasbro also announced it is introducing a create-your-own Potato Head family kit that will come with 2 large genderless potato bodies and 1 small genderless potato body plus myriad accessories so that children can create their own families of gendered and non-gendered characters in line with what the company says are changing societal roles. 3-year-olds everywhere went, yay, finally we can make our own gender-neutral characters. Wanted to do that since we left diapers. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Heads will still be available for those not opting to go genderless.
Oh, so they're not even, like, replacing the Mr. Potato Head toy. They're literally creating a new toy that is genderless. They're giving you 2 of them, and they're going to let you mix and match as you see fit. This is exactly the same as other products that already exist on the market. Something like the Creatable World dolls, something like this. Rex Murphy is just crying his head off because trans people get to actually be included in the conversation. He's crying his head off because he's a transphobic bigot who's willing to set aside any concept of wealth earning, any concept of money making, or any concept of catering at all to a people who have been systematically disenfranchised in our society. So, sorry, Rex. Trans people get to be involved in our society too. Sorry.
The ineffable idiocy of the effort comes out in the reporting that Hasbro said it was dropping the Mr. from the brand in an effort to make sure all feel welcome in the Potato Head world. At this world that Hasbro kept invoking, the Potato Head world, can there be adults in a corporation who talk about people's needs to feel welcome in a, I stagger as I type it, Potato Head world?
This is just old man Rex, man. Yes, they want to make a potato head world. Absolutely, they want to make a potato head world. This is like Marvel Universe stuff. You want to create a universe so that people can get invested in the universe. And just because it's a potato head world doesn't mean that it's silly. Now you're just revealing that you're illiterate at business. Now you're just revealing, besides the fact that you're transphobic, that you actually have no idea how to make any money at all in the industry that you're critiquing, but you're illiterate about. Maybe you should go back to bed, Rex.
Let's face it, until we get the whole farm and gardening industries out of the cis-heteronormative, patriarchal, sexist, misogynist hegemony, root and branch, leaf and seed, flower and flax, who really is safe? While I think of it, the farmyard and crop country would be the next terrain for Justin Trudeau's gender equity analysts to apply their laser talents. And cucumbers, I really don't want to go there. Should they even be allowed in any garden of the woke? The very rednecks of farmland, cowboy hats, country music, and blatant sexism in a green rind? They are the F word, and I'm not talking phosphorus of veggies. They terrify the turnips and intimidate the distiff side of the domestic fowl. Down, wantons, down! All I feel I can safely say about the cucumber class is that they remind me of Sean Penn. That is to say, they're aggressive in form and function.
Holy cow, Rex, did you have to fill like a word count? Did they actually force you to write like an extra 3 paragraphs in this ridiculous transphobic rant that doesn't acknowledge that there are people in the world who don't conform to this old ideology that you are trying to inflict upon the world, right? You even say it, what? The patriarchy, ultra, blah, 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 blah. So you know the terminology. You're literally sitting there like Principal Skinner being like, am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong. You're old, Rex. You're like the guy shaking his fist about rock and roll and video games, right? Like, we don't take you seriously, and you should just stop publishing.
De profundis clamavi. Out of the depths I cry. Western civilization has its libraries tossing out books and desexting plastic bobbleheads in the name of social enlightenment. Has it come to pass that it is deemed morally uplifting to make potatoes, which are actually plastic knockoffs of potatoes with mustaches or lipstick and ponytails, gender fluid?
Oh my god, yes, Rex. Yes, it has come to pass. It has come to pass that we are going to actually include trans people in our society as if they are people. It has come to pass that this is what Western civilization is seeking to do. You can't simultaneously extol the virtues of a society that's constantly attempting to improve itself and then complain when those improvements happen to go against your transphobic, bigoted views, Rex.
Just days after the Perseverance rover made a pinpoint landing on planet Mars, here on the one we inhabit, there are messages of homage to a toy manufacturer for shielding children from the pressure of traditional gender norms. This comes less than a week after Coca-Cola was offering diversity training, which is actively blossoming into an oxymoron, instructing people who are white to become less white. Sigh. Was it for this that Plato taught, Da Vinci painted, Shakespeare wrote, Beethoven composed, and peerless Einstein turned his genius to probing the essential nature of things?
But yes, of course, Rex. Like, that's of course what this is all like. Of course, discovering new ways that humanity operates and exists in the world is absolutely the point of the Enlightenment. It's absolutely the point of scientific pursuit. It's absolutely the point of Isaac Newton and Beethoven and all these guys actively pursuing, hey, what's going on in the world? And when we figure out what's going on in the world and we see that there is something that actually exists and is real, we should acknowledge it, stop persecuting the people who are doing it, and maybe include them in the society, Rex. Yes, it's what it's about.
Perhaps there is a real question here. Are we so deep in folly and triviality, so spared from real challenge that self-absorbed some are driven to invent social mischiefs which, properly looked at, expand the limit of absurdity and narcissism.
Yikes, bro. Yikes. Like, you're calling people who are acknowledging the fact that they're trans narcissists. You're saying that our scientific discovery of different forms of sexuality is a social mischief. Like, this is how entrenched in your deep, dark, bigoted views that you're willing to call people who are actually standing up and declaring, I am a transsexual person, as the narcissists. I think maybe this might be that classic conservative thing where you take the things that you're guilty of and put it on other people, Rex.
Does evolution have a turning point when it sharply reverses course? Have we passed that point? Are we well launched on a downward and implacable slope?
Yeah, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. This is where Rex Murphy has landed on this issue. He's taking a look at the discovery and acknowledgement and evolutionarily existent phenomenon of trans people living in his society, and he's decided that no, these people are absurd. It's absurd to declare trans people as people. It's absurd. He calls them social misfits and narcissists, for goodness sakes, for having the desire to have toys that reflect their own lived experience, and then on top of it all, condemning people, good capitalists who Rex Murphy should be behind 100%, for actually looking and saying, hey, there's trans people in the world who would like toys that reflect their own desires to be trans. Rex Murphy is an old dinosaur, and the way that evolution works is that it kills off things that are worthless and destroys the ideas that no longer benefit the whole. That would be Rex Murphy. So, Rex, my advice to you, take your medicine, go to bed, stop writing. And hey, to the National Post, stop publishing Rex Murphy. He makes you look like a bunch of transphobic, terrified old white men, which, if the shoe fits, I guess. Alright guys, this is the end of me. Please like, share, subscribe these videos, and hey, if you've got a buck in your pocket, you can just dump it down there. Even $1 helps you guys. You guys are doing great out there. You're doing everything right. Good luck. We're gonna need it.